everybody. Welcome to the Career Advancement Show. I'm so happy that everybody's here. And if you are here, guys, and if you're watching me live, I would like you to put some hashtags, okay? If you're watching live, put hashtag live. And if you're watching on the replay, because those of you who have been here before know that I stream on Facebook, I stream on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you're watching live, I'd like to see the comment live. I would like to see who is here. So say hello to me, guys. I'd love you to say hello. And let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay, so put some comments, guys, live if you're watching live, and if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So I'm so happy to have you here today. So we are going to start, guys, because we don't have the whole day to do this, and this is a very I see Patricia is here, Jay's here. Wonderful. So we're going to start. This is very important, guys. This is very important for career professionals who want to up level in their career, because you know that I'm not only talking to people who are looking for a job, but you look for the job, you have to keep the job, right? And I was speaking to somebody today, and that was his concern, to up level in his job and to be the best that he can be. So today we are going to talk that. I'm just going to go right into it. How to elevate your professional brand. And that's very important. So let's get to it. Okay, let's get to it. And let me see if you can see the screen. If you can see the screen, let me know that you can see the screen right now. If you're seeing the screen, okay? Let me know if you're seeing the screen. And okay, hello, Michael is here. Hey, Michael. And are you guys seeing the screen? Just let me know, yes, you're seeing the screen, and I will continue. I just want to make sure that we're talking today. So talk to me today, guys, and we're going to talk about this. This is very important. Very important. How to elevate your professional brand. And why am I concerned about this? Because there are different types of branding. There are different types of brands, guys. Okay, I hear people talk a lot about personal branding. Well, we all know where that came from, right? The Kardashians, okay? So as a career professional, it might not make sense for you to be highlighting what you call your personal brand. So that's why we're going through it today. It is being confused. It is confusing, and people are confusing them. So we're going to talk about what a brand is and the different types, personal versus professional brand, and how to create an authentic professional brand that amplifies your career, right? So what is a brand? It's a business and marketing concept. It has been around for years. You know, in my first profession, I was a marketer. So we learned that at university about branding. That was my first degree. It helps you to identify a particular company, product, or an individual. Now that we are putting the individual with social media, came personal branding, right? It's intangible. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it. You might be able to feel if it's your own brand because you're want to feel some way. But it helps to shape people's perception of companies and products and individuals. And that is very important, right? So if you want, just like a company, for people to see you in a particular way, you've got to shape it too, because companies are out there shaping their company brand, their corporate brand. And that's why you have to shape yours. Because everybody has a brand. You do have one, whether you think or not, how people see you. But sometimes it's good to shape it so that you tell your own story and not somebody telling your story. So we all have a brand. It evolves with time. And that is why it is so important for you to be intentional about it, right? So now we are going to look at the three types that we're talking about. Look at the three types of branding, right? You have the corporate for corporations, the personal for solopreneurs and individuals, and professional for employees, right? So that is very important. So the corporate now, the company's corporate brand helps them to stand out from the competition and communicates its value to customers. So I'm going to show myself a little bit here, okay? To show their value to the customers. The personal brand is like small businesses, right? A personal brand helps a solopreneur. I'm a solopreneur now. When I was employee in January, I had a professional brand, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit later why I had to separate mine, or why I was intentional about it. So, and you could probably identify with some of those things. So the personal brand helps a solopreneur stand out from the competition and communicate its value to customers. So if you're on this call and you're a business person, you have to be intentional about how you're perceived by your clients. Michael, I think he's a businessman, and he has to be intentional about how his clients see him, right? Jay's a businessman, okay? So I see Patricia on here. She's an employee. So she has to be intentional about how she's seen as an employee, right? Okay. I'm a solopreneur. I have now a personal brand, right? Michael has a personal brand, right? So a professional brand helps the employees stand out from the competition and communicate your value to corporations or companies you would like to work for. So when you're creating a professional brand, you have to create that brand so that you'll be attractive to companies, because it depends on who your audience is. Who's your audience? My audience is not the company that I'm going to work for, right? My audience is not a corporate body. My audience would be career professionals who are looking to up level in their career. So that is very, very important, right? And Michael says yes, and yes, and Patricia says she was seeing everything clearly. So that's what it is, right? So you carry yourself. So your core brand, your brand core is the same. If you're a personal brand or a professional brand, there is one central thing to it: your integrity. Your reputation, how you carry yourself everywhere, at home, in the office, or even on your daily commute, the story you tell, because sometimes you're out, you don't even know who's seeing you. You don't even know what you're communicating. It's not so much about who is seeing you, but what you are communicating, if you're intentional about it, what you're communicating to your employer, who you bump into over at Costco, or a potential employer who you're bumping into over at Costco, right? Or you apply for a job and you don't know these people. We don't know everybody. We're applying for a job, and then suddenly you send your resume somewhere. They see you online and say, "Oh, I saw that girl in Costco last week." You have to be very intentional about it. And when you are an employee, if you're an employee and you're satisfied where you are and you don't think you're going to move and you just love it there, maybe. But if you're an employer, you would like to up level in your career one day, you better be intentional about it. The story you tell combined with your everyday interactions ultimately define your brand. So I hope that makes some sense to you guys. Is it making sense to you why integrity is key, as Patricia says? So you see why it is very important to you that you stand out with your branding, right? Or that you be intentional about it. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is that you don't think you have a personal brand, so you just go around, you do any old thing, and you miss out on some opportunities that you would like to have, okay? So brand expression, I call this. It is how you express and communicate your skills, values, and personality in person and online. Online. Now, first of all, 30 years ago, I did not have to worry about online. Hardly anybody was online. Nothing was going on. When I was looking for a job in 2000, there was a lot of online, but I don't even think LinkedIn was as robust at that time. I wouldn't have to worry about, because I wasn't even on LinkedIn. 20 years ago, I was not on LinkedIn. Now, I have to be intentional about it. I have to know, what am I communicating? You know, you might say, okay, you can do any old thing, Right, but if you want to attract business, if you want to get a good job, if you want to stand out, then I would think that you might want to be intentional about it. And to tell the truth, most employees should be here listening to this today, because all of them, all they hear about is personal branding, and they don't know what it means and they don't know the difference. To be truly memorable and impactful, your brand should represent your authentic self, and it is what makes you unique. So hear this. Here's the issue. Here is the issue. And I show this picture. It's me twice. Professional versus personal branding. How do you separate both? Where do you draw the line between your professional and your personal branding? Very important. Because when I was an employee just a year ago, I can tell you what happened to me. I started deciding that I was going to do videos for YouTube. I started 2020 in June, putting some videos on, and I put a video on there. And in the video, I called a client's name. I think I said Bank of, and this is public information. I said Bank of Canada requires a resume with 5 pages long, around 5 pages long. That is something they put in their RFP. You can write it, and everybody has to know that if you send a 6-page resume, they're not going to take it. EDC will take a resume which is 10 pages long. So they stipulate that in there. It is public knowledge. I put my video on there and it was doing very well, and I got a call. I'm not going to tell you who I got the call for, but somebody hiring me. I was senior director, so the person had to be higher than me. Take it down. So you see where I'm coming from when I talk about personal branding and professional branding. When you're working for a company, you don't make the rules. You are not the boss. The boss, it could be the shareholders, and you have a boss who is the guy at the top. And if you don't clear certain things with him, you cannot be 100% authentic. Very, very important. I went and I didn't panic. I said, I did a little bit of prayer, and I say, God, help me to fix this video. I went on YouTube, I fixed my video, and I figured I had read somewhere how to fix a video in YouTube, so I didn't have to take it down and put it back. If you take it down, you lose all your views and everything on that video. It won't perform well. I went into the back of YouTube and I fixed the video, put it on there, and in 20 minutes, I emailed the senior guy at the company. I said, I took it down and I fixed it. That was my professional branding. That could not have been personal branding. In April of 2021, it's about almost a year after, I retired and I became a coach. On April 6th was my birthday, and I put a video on YouTube with me dance on LinkedIn, me dancing Zumba. Do you think that I could do the same thing if I was still working there? No way. So that is just one example that when you are creating your brand, it is very important, guys, that you make the distinction between a corporate brand and a personal brand, because you don't make the rules of the organization. You don't know everything about you can't do as you please. But when you have your personal brand like the Kardashians, you can do as you please. When you have your own solopreneur company, you can do as you please, right? So what I say here is that without a strategy in place, you could have several problems because the two has to be meshed together. So and a professional brand has to mesh your personal with your professional life, because your employer may not be happy with some of the stuff, the activities, right? Especially you put on LinkedIn and people are talking about certain things are political, or certain things that you could go and mention, and it might not be in alliance with what the company wants to communicate. When you're out there communicating as an employer, you are really communicating, representing your company. your corporate company, not your personal brand, right? Okay, especially when you're on LinkedIn. Maybe Facebook, you can get away with it. But when you're in a place like LinkedIn, you're actually representing your company's brand. So some of the personal photos you might want to do, or some of the expressions you might want to say, okay, this is not the right thing. So the first step in learning how to keep your personal and professional brand separate online is to accept that the dividing line might be blurry and you are one person, and it's a mixture of both your lives and the personal and the professional. You have to find common ground somewhere. It's like a Venn diagram, right? You have to find the parts that meet in the middle. Okay. So that is very important. Okay. So the other view was limited on a LinkedIn, Patricia said to me. Okay. So Patricia, that was I'm not so sure if that was the 7 steps, right? So the other one was the dividing line. So I read it, so that should be okay now. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 7th step to creating an authentic brand. Okay, is this the one that you couldn't see, the 7 steps? Put a yes or a no there. Okay, all right. So we are going to create an authentic brand. An authentic brand. 7 steps. All right, I'm going to read them out so if you can't see very clearly because there are 7 here, right? So know who you are and what you want to be known for. So when you're doing that, guys, you got to be introspective, right? Introspective meaning that you're going to look within, look for yourself as a professional, the areas that you excel in. You're going to do a SWOT analysis, I would say. I love SWOT analysis because it tells you about your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and the threats. So you're going to do the strengths and weakness part. You're going to look at what motivates you because you have to be happy, right? What do people say about you? And what are the compliments you usually get? What do people say about you when you're not in the room? That's very important, right? And Patricia has a question for me. So I'm just going to stop a little bit and answer some of the questions. Is there a need to keep the professional and personal separate in other platforms other than LinkedIn? Okay. So for me, if I should just give you my idea of the different platforms, I think Facebook, the way Facebook is set up, it was, and I think that's what it was set up before originally, is for you to connect with your friends and family. It is still like that. When you put something in Facebook, it doesn't even stay. When you put things in Facebook, it stays on your profile or your feed a long time, right? You can go in and scroll down and you can connect with friends and family. And in Facebook, only people who you invite to connect with you can see your stuff, right? The way your settings are. When you think about LinkedIn, it's different. When you go on LinkedIn, anybody can search for you and find you. They can see you anonymous too. Sometimes you will see something comes up that says anonymously. So Facebook was created as more of a social network to connect with friends and family and all that. And I just use it basically to connect with friends and family. I don't have a 200 connections on Facebook, but I have almost 10,000 on LinkedIn, right? So if you look for me on Facebook and I don't want to connect with you, you're not going to see what I post, right? You can look for me on LinkedIn and see what I post. So I think there's a big difference there. Twitter, also on Twitter, is kind of, you put something out there, it's kind of just goes out there. The only thing with Twitter, you can't even correct yourself. So you kind of have to be careful there. The Twitter one goes fast like a rabbit, right? Facebook is almost like a turtle, right? Instagram, I find that with Instagram, it's more of for personal branding. People do well on there when they are selling their personal brand, right? But because right now we are talking, and also another thing that you can do, I was going to talk about it later on, is that when you're trying to create an image out there, a brand out there, what you should actually do is to ensure you do a scrub. If you're going to apply for a job and you had a naked picture up on Facebook, sorry, naked picture on Facebook, I would say go and try take it down, all right? Or if you had or if you were swearing or stuff like that, right? So you know what I'm talking about, right? So and I've seen where in the past people apply for jobs and the companies go on Facebook and see things that they have posted and involved in before. Especially, I understand that Facebook can become very political, so you might want to, if you don't want to show that to the, if you don't want to show that to the public, if that's not the persona, if it's not the avatar you want to advertise, I would say clean it up and start afresh. Okay. So all right, let's keep going. So you know who you are and what you want to be known for. And that was supposed to be for, not FO. Okay. What you want to be known for. Okay. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? And the next thing you're going to do, you're going to define your audience, guys. Make sure you know who your audience is, right? You want to know who your audience is. You can even ask friends and family, you know, what they say about you. But you want to know who your audience is, right? And when you know who your audience is, you know who you're going to communicate to, right? And in order to know who your audience is, one of the things that you can also do is knowing your audience is you can do some research on that, right? So you want to know what you want to be known for, and you want to define your audience. Who is your audience? What industry you want to break into? What steps would you take if you were to make a transition to that industry? Right? So what you want to do right now, you want to make sure that you know those things. You want to look at industry trends. You want to know which industry you want to get into. That is very important. Okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to reach out to people in the industry that you want to go into. You're going to reach out to people, ask questions that can help you garner new insights in the desired field. For example, if you want to get into another career pivot, what I would say that you should do is to find out what the industry is. Make a list of companies that you like to work with and find out from people, right? And get that sorted out so that you can understand what the industry that you want to get into. And Michael says, I review online in advance who is to interview me and potential clients. Yes, that's very important. And they are looking for you too, right? Okay. So you want to learn what it takes to get into a certain profession. And if you don't know about the profession, I would suggest that you go online, look at the industries, see if you can connect with people and do an, you know, like what you call it now, an interview. On get them for ask them for a 20 or 30-minute networking interview, and you go and do an informational interview just to get to understand certain things, how you see the industry evolving, how do you stay up to date with industry trends, are there any professional or trade associations that I can join. You learn about the profession and you learn about the brand. So let's get on to I'm really there already. The audience and the industry, and you follow the experts in those industries and learn from them, right? So that is very important. That is very important. So when you're doing that, you're defining your audience, you are learning about the industry, and you are asking for those informational interviews. So do that, you work on that, and then you have to embrace networking. You have to embrace networking, guys. Got to go out and network with these people. Ask them questions, ask for informational interviews. And you might say, I reach out to a couple of people and nobody get back to me. Listen, it's a probability of large numbers. The more people you reach out to, one or two of them are going to get back to you, I'm sure. I'm working with some people right now, and it's the same thing. You know, the lady says some got back and some didn't get back, and that's fine, because not everybody's going to get back to you. But the more people you reach out to in the industry, the more responses you'll get, because some people have a heart of helping, right? So you're going to embrace networking. You can also, this is one good thing I wanted to bring up today. You should try to ask for recommendations. Ask for recommendations. So if you're working at a company right now, guys, if the manager left, if somebody who worked with you very well left and they know you very well, go and ask them to do ask them for an online recommendation for LinkedIn, right? So that you can have it there. But just know if the person comes off LinkedIn, that recommendation is gone, right? You can screenshot it too, you can copy it or stuff like that, but ask them for a recommendation. Ask the people you're working with right now who like you, while they like you, for a recommendation. It's very important. I never used to ask for those when I was at my company. I was there so long, but I did ask for one lady who was leaving, and I worked with her closely. She was a proposal manager. It's still up there. She did a great recommendation because I wanted somebody who worked with me to say something right on her own without me prodding. And when somebody recommend me, I don't even correct the English. I just, whatever they say, I say, whatever you say, let it stay, right? So it's very important right now, guys, because that is very, very important for you. And the other thing that you can do, guys, is to what I call grow your online presence. You should try to grow your online presence. And I'm going to switch back a little bit. Grow your online presence, and how you can do that. There are several ways that you can grow your online presence. Okay. And I have a couple notes here that I would like to, because this one was pretty big when I was looking at growing your online presence. Because one of them I was suggesting is that the LinkedIn profile, you should make sure that because you are a professional, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is properly optimized. Because as I said to somebody last week, while you're sleeping, people are looking at you on LinkedIn. And if your LinkedIn is giving the right message, they will find you while you're sleeping and you will get notes in your mailbox, right? I was working with a lady and it happened to her so much that she had to turn it off after she got the job. She just turned it off quickly because she was getting too many messages about jobs, right? So make sure that you do that. So and on LinkedIn, something that you should do, and make sure that I wrote it down so I don't forget it. You must make sure that your about section is properly optimized. You must ensure that your headline is saying what you are, what you're looking for, and not the job you had or have. So if you're looking for a job in a certain area and that's the job you want, don't go in your headline and put something else. Because the headline is very critical. As somebody looks at your picture, they go straight to the headline. And on the picture, make sure that you have a proper picture. If you don't like the picture and the background, you can change that because you want it to stand out, right? You want your picture to be professional and you want the background to stand out. And other things that you should make sure you do with your LinkedIn profile, guys, is to make sure that you put your qualifications there and your experience, right? So there are just certain basic parts that you should do. And you can also optimize the education section. So a lot of the things, some of the things are not useful up there, but the headline is very important. Your profile picture, your profile background. If you don't want to change a gray one and put something that stands out, the gray is like everybody, right? The about section is telling people what you do for whom and for what, which is very important. And also make sure that after you have a nice resume, you use most of the information to make sure you put all the various parts together. Okay. So that is, I wasn't planning for this today to be very, very long. And so that is very important, guys. I just want to come on to tell you the difference between professional branding, corporate branding, and personal branding is very important. And after you do that, you are going to make sure that you're visible. People like you because they see you posting on LinkedIn and you're putting certain information there. They are going to see you as credible. And when people see you as visible, likable, and credible, and people like to work with people they know. So they kind of feel that they know a little bit about you. People like to deal with people that they know, like, and trust. right? So make sure that you do that. So the next people, you look likable on there. And as I say, it increases your marketability and your profitability. So this is what all that is about, right? So that is very important, guys. I just wanted to show you that. And as you are here, also for those people, I took it off so you can see me right now. Okay, so that's very important, guys. I just want to make sure that today was supposed to be, I put it for an hour, but I just wanted to be deal with that one little topic. And if you'd like to work with me personally, those who would like to work with me, I just wanted to just drop before that, if you do not know how to get jobs using LinkedIn, right? I have a video on YouTube that I'm going to post for everybody to see, because a lot of time people watch this on the replay too. So that's the YouTube video, that how to get jobs using LinkedIn. That's very important, guys, right? And I also wanted to put here my website, that it's functional, it's up and running. You can go there and land and learn. There's a lot of information there. So it is running on the banner too. So if you want to click on that, you will get to my website. And also on the website, it shows you my services too, because there's a course which is really very good. A lady who just landed the 3 big jobs, 6-figure jobs. She did my course in a combination with my person to person, and she landed 3 6-figure jobs in 3 days, right? So after working with me for less than 2 months. So that's very important. So if you would like to know how to get jobs using LinkedIn, right? I have that. How to get jobs using LinkedIn. Just click on it there. If you want to go to my website and check it out, there are some resources there that you can use to up level and be the best that you can be. So today is going to be very short, guys. And I just want to say thank you for hopping in tonight to talk about this. And I'll see you next time.